Neves, what are you doing?
Just making sure Josh is locked in there from last time.
Yeah, we learned from that mistake.
Whew, yeah, thank God. Anyways, I'm thinking for this episode we talk about movie sequels. You know, sequels that are better than the original.
Godfather II, Terminator 2.
Yeah, I know those ones, but we also got Open Season 3, you know.
They made a 3?
Yeah, this is the best one.
I'm sure it is.
I have it on Blu-ray
But,
for some reason.
Maybe we'll skip that one.
Okay, we'll skip that one. Well, maybe we could do Alien Resurrection. It is the best Alien film.
That's the one you want to talk about?
Yeah, this is the Alien Resurrection. They resurrected the franchise, meaning it's good.
Yeah, let's try again. One more.
Well, last but not least, I got Transformers 3. It's the best Transformers movie by a mile.
No.
I still have the Best Buy sticker on it. This is a good deal.
The fact that you paid $36.99 for this.
I know, it's crossed out. It's on special.
Oh, okay, great. Anyway, those are terrible.
Fuck.
Go back to the drawing board and let's record.
All right.
Welcome back to the Real Talk Podcast, episode 144. I'm your host, Nathan, and I'm joined by the man himself, Matthew Neves, to my left.
Thank you.
And today we are going to be discussing movie sequels that are better than the original.
Ooh, hell yeah.
A rare occurrence in film.
Definitely. It's so hard to top the original, especially if the original is really, really fucking good.
Yeah, which, I mean, your film has to be pretty good to get a sequel usually.
Yeah,
unless it's like Rebel Moon or some shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. Rebel Moon. Before Rebel Moon, I always think of like The Purge.
Yeah.
That film looked like dog shit, but they managed to make 5 of them or something like that.
That was the advertising, man.
Yeah.
People fell in love with that premise.
Well,
And it just went somewhere that I don't even think they were expecting. And they're like, oh, fuck, we got to make another one. What do we do?
was that Blumhouse?
Was it?
I think so.
Could have been, yeah.
Blumhouse is really known for that. The Jason
Yeah.
Blum guy is just like, we're going to make like 20 of these. And they do because they're cheaply made. But
Yeah, when an idea hits, they beat it to the ground.
literally, man. Fucking literally. If it makes profit, they will milk it till it's done.
Right.
But no, we are not talking about those types of sequels.
No.
We're talking about the ones that have been iconic, ones that people remember, and some that might be under the radar, might be a little underrated for some.
It's hard to surpass the original with a sequel, but some films have done it, and some films have done it in like a crazy way that like you can almost forget the original. Like
Yeah. I would say so because like something about it, they cover more ground. Maybe the budget was bigger and they were able to be more creative that way. There are scenarios like that all the time, and we made some lists. And we will cover them. I divided into specific categories, but we can go later on with that. Let's just go into our main list.
Yeah.
What are our favorite movie sequels?
Let's start with your list, Nev, because yours had a little bit of some curveballs in it, but I think it's a very solid list, and I do agree that all of these are better than the original.
Oh, hell yeah. And some of them are probably on your list too, so we can like cross that out. So the first one is, of course, Blade Runner 2049. It's a hard one to top the original, in my opinion. Really hard. Some people might agree, some people might disagree. But after seeing Blade Runner 2049 in theaters, seeing it again at home, to me, it just gets it.
100% surpasses the original, in my opinion.
It's the story, it's the visuals, it's the character. I feel like the themes are strengthened in this one compared to the original, even though the original is so fucking good.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you top it? And Denis Villeneuve's just like, nah, this is how I top it. And Ryan Gosling's character, Harrison Ford's character, I love. I love how his character is much more, it's darker but more hopeful, if that makes sense.
I mean, I've been quoted on here saying that I don't like Harrison Ford that much. Like, I think he's kind of a bad fucking actor, if we're being honest.
Really?
But I think Blade Runner is certainly one of his best performances.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Especially in terms of his later career. I call it his resurgence career, where he's like Harrison Ford again. Here's Indiana Jones again. This is the best one of those.
Yeah.
In my opinion. He really gives a very subtle, emotional performance in that particular movie. And of course, the next one, everyone knows it. It's The Dark Knight.
It's probably it would be on 90% of people's lists.
90%.
If they were to make a list of top 10 sequels.
Yeah.
It'd be on damn near everyone's list because The Dark Knight, what Nolan did there with, you know what, Batman Begins is fucking good.
It's really good.
It's like
Yeah.
a really good Batman movie that doesn't get talked about almost
No.
ever because people talk so much about Dark Knight, but even Dark Knight Rises, I feel like surpassed the original in conversation, like just what people go back and watch and people remember.
Yeah.
Bane became very iconic as well.
Yeah.
And the original just kind of got forgotten.
I think it got forgotten because it was sandwiched into a bunch of other superhero movies. It was before the superhero schlock.
Sure.
That we got pumped like 5 of them every year. But it was right after like Spider-Man 2. It was right
Yeah.
after that era of superhero films. So, and also Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises are like big budget. Way bigger budget compared to Batman Begins, which feels very like, feels lower.
Yeah.
Than like now you see DC and Marvel doing. Like everything DC and Marvel's doing is like $300 million, $400 million. Batman Begins feels so grounded in comparison.
I know.
So, but yeah, Dark Knight, it's the type of movie that even if you fucking hate superhero films, you love this movie.
I agree. It definitely crosses over. It's way more than a superhero movie. It's just a really fucking good movie. Like,
Yeah.
forget that his face is painted or he's in a fucking bat suit. This is a great crime drama.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a fantastic film.
Yeah. I think the absurdity of it makes it more distinct.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's it. That's it, in my opinion. The rest of the movie, like, you look at it and it's super well done. Heath Ledger, I mean, what more can you say? It's been like 16 years, I think, now, or almost. It's going to reach 20, man. It's going to reach 20
Wow.
fucking years, and it still holds up. Love it. Can't.
I'll never forget when Dark Knight came out, like, talking to my uncle and him saying he'd just seen it in theaters. And I
Yeah.
wanted to watch it so bad. But he was like, I don't know, man. Joker's pretty scary. I don't think you should watch it.
Yeah, because we were pretty young when it came out, but we knew the hype. We saw the marketing.
We were so young, but you remember the hype too,
man,
right?
The hype was fucking nuts, man. It was like that. That was the movie of the year that I wanted to see so fucking badly.
Me too.
But
How much later did you end up seeing it?
like I think Blu-ray,
Yeah, when it came out on Blu-ray. you ended up
2009,
seeing it?
2010, yeah, probably. Which sucks because it's like, dude, imagine seeing that in the IMAX theater. Like,
Oh man.
the fucking, I don't know, something about it. That's why Dark Knight Rises and like that year for movies for me was like the big year of like I'm super hyped.
Yeah.
But yeah, going on to the next one, Tron Legacy. Yeah, this is better than the original. If you've seen the first one, you fucking know why.
Yeah.
Everything about the first one, Tron Legacy does better, both technically and narratively, in my opinion. A lot of people don't really agree narratively, but I do. Like, I think you care more about Jeff Bridges, you care more about his son, you care more about the antagonist, which I feel like they utilize that CGI de-aging well because it's supposed to be uncanny. So when you see Jeff Bridges as the younger version, he's like, oh, he's like weird looking. That's intentional because he's the villain.
Yeah.
He's very creepy. You don't want to advocate for this technology overruling humanity. So I think it works in this regard. It's a very rare occasion where the de-aging I'm fine with.
The Tron Legacy, I feel like there was a good amount of hype with Tron Legacy as well when it came out. Did it make money?
It made enough money that they wanted to make a sequel, but it's been delayed so much that we are just getting another one. But I don't think any of the crew or cast are back. I think it's a whole other crew and cast, and I am not interested at all. I
Really?
do not want to
Yeah.
see it. I mean, I heard about the director. His work isn't that good. I think he directed Prince of Persia. I'm like,
Okay.
are you fucking serious, dude? And it's starring Jared Leto. I'm like, are you really?
Oh, man.
Really? How did you go from that to
I don't like that.
Daft Punk's not involved, so I don't fucking care anymore.
Daft Punk being involved was huge too.
Yeah. Daft Punk was another reason why this is better than the original. They just had the perfect musical artist, to work on this movie. It was like match made in heaven.
Made perfect sense, yeah.
Another one that everyone, like, when they hear it, oh, of course, Godfather Part 2.
Yeah. I think that this is like one of those examples where the first one is so strong though.
Yeah.
It's like there's no really wrong answer, and I don't fault anybody for saying they like Godfather 1 more or 2, whatever.
Yeah.
My thing has always been the 1 is the more rewatchable film to me. I can watch that one a little bit more. I look forward to some scenes more. Godfather 2 is the better crafted film, I think. It's one of the most amazingly crafted films ever. The time jumps are seamless.
Yeah.
the way that story's told and the way it becomes a detective movie at times and has these different elements to them. It is truly one of the best films ever made, and definitely deserves to be on this list.
Absolutely. I mean, I agree with the time jumps. I feel like movies after this tried to do it, and it just felt clunky.
Never.
You as an audience member were confused, like, what the fuck are we doing here? Whereas I remember Coppola talking about that because he was like, he edited it in a timeline way.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I don't know if this works as well. So then he did the time jumps. And I think that works better in this case because you get to see the father and son contrast. You get to see how one was the rise and the other was the fall. You realize that not everything lasts forever and it gets more dark. And I love that. This is my favorite Pacino performance. I think he does a better job in this than he does part one.
Pacino so incredibly good in this movie. Like,
Yeah.
the shit he does with his eyes in this
Yes.
movie.
My God, man.
I've never seen anything like it in my life. His eyes in the courtroom scene when they bring Frankie Five Angel's brother from Italy in.
Yeah.
Just what he does with his eyes when he walks in and what he's able to do with his eyes when he's talking to Roth. You know what he's thinking through his eyes.
It's amazing.
It's something that you don't really see happen. It is the greatest Pacino performance. It is one of the greatest performances in film.
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely. I completely agree. This
It's
is
better than Brando in Godfather 1.
I do.
100%
I agree with that. I mean, like, Brando's given a ton of great performances, but to me, Pacino outdoes it with this one.
I agree.
Also, cinematography wise, like, this was back when people know how to light a movie, because it is dark. There are darkly lit scenes, but it's not like movies nowadays where you're watching like, what the fuck am I looking at?
Yeah.
Like, it's like I can kind of see this person's face in the distance. This one, it's like, no, like,
I feel like movies nowadays look like they were shot in a room full of light and then they just darken it later.
yeah.
Where it's like all of this was done in camera with like really strategic lamp placements and shit like that. And it's like, you know, the actors are like stepping into their, you know, into their places and the shadows of this film. It's incredible work.
The orange, the colors, it's just so vibrant. I can't stress enough. If you haven't seen Godfather Part 2, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Please watch it. Give yourself some time to watch it.
Great one.
Another one, Top Gun Maverick. This is a more recent one, but
Totally agree though.
look, I understand people like the original. The original has its moments. It's very cheesy. It's like Rocky 3. It's like Predator. You're looking at a cheesy film.
It's cheesy as fuck, guys. Like,
Yeah.
I know it was cool for the time. It was a thing.
Yeah.
And Tom Cruise is fucking cool.
He's fucking cool in it. So is Val Kilmer. I get it.
But I think you have to say that this is a better movie.
Maverick is so fucking good. I saw this in theaters so many times. I have it on Blu-ray. Like, I can't. This is a movie to see in IMAX.
Yeah.
This is a movie to see on the big screen. When Tom Cruise is like fucking yelling at you saying, you gotta go to the theaters, you gotta go to the it's because of movies like this.
Yeah, I
And
completely agree.
Again, like, the story is very simple. It reminds me of like back in the day with 80s films. It's just that they took the good parts of the 80s and then they try to revive specific moments.
Really, really good.
And it's simple. It's a simple story. The action is amazing.
Yeah, very ton of it shot practically. Like damn near everything shot practically.
I love it.
Looks so good.
The final like flight, lack of music, just sound effects, the action. This won best sound mixing at the Oscars, rightfully fucking so. And
the emotion that they were able to put in this one, which hits much harder than the original.
Oh, absolutely. They did a really good job with it. Again, simple. Go simple with your fucking stories, and sometimes you can always overcome the original.
Yeah.
This is a great example of it. And another one we talked about on our movie of the month. Please check it out. We won't talk too much about it, but Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Yeah, you want to hear our thoughts on that film, check out our movie of the month for sure. We both love Terminator 2. It is objectively much better
than the original.
than the original, I think.
The original has I'll Be Back. It has all those iconic moments. Come with me if you want to live.
Yeah.
But if we're talking emotion, if we're talking practical effects.
Yeah, James Cameron took a big chance here by flipping the Terminator character on its head and making him not a killer
Yes, exactly.
And making him likable, relatable, father figure.
Yeah.
And it works. It works really well. Terminator 2 is a classic.
Classic indeed. Another one on my list that, because I guess another Pixar sequel just came out recently, this to me is the true Pixar sequel. I don't care what anyone says. Toy Story 2.
100%.
A lot of people are like, what about Toy Story 3? No, Toy Story 2 is better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fucking love this movie. This is the one where Pixar got it right. This was their very first sequel.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of ambition for it. There was a lot like, what do we do with our first movie? Toy Story was their very first ever feature film.
Ton of ambition there too. It's a short movie.
Yes.
And it is truly a feat that like changed animation forever.
Yeah.
Toy Story is all of these modern animation movies' father. Like,
Yeah, literally. The ending is perfect. It's so iconic.
it's good, but it's like this is we're pushing the tech limits as far as they go. We
Yeah.
can't do more than this. We had to make it short. We had to, but then Toy Story 2, the sequel comes. They have the tech. They established a way to make these kinds of movies, and they just did it better.
They did. You care about Woody more. You care about Buzz more. Honestly, they just make these characters way more interesting than they did in the first one. And that's what I love most about it. You look at Woody's character in Toy Story 2 versus the first one, where the first one, he's just kind of jealous. And then he learns from that and he realizes that, every toy is special. That's always a great message to have for kids. But Toy Story 2 leads into, what about your origin? Like, where do you come from? Or do you these are more mature choices that you make in life. And in my opinion, Toy Story 2 is a more mature film than 3 is because of that. Even though Toy Story 3 has Andy grown up.
Yeah.
That's how I view it. I know that's my hot take. I don't think Toy Story 3 is bad.
No, it's not.
It's a great conclusion.
It's a great trilogy.
Yeah, exactly. Great trilogy. We don't talk about the fourth one. Anyway,
what
fourth one?
Doesn't exist.
Nothing after 3. There was nothing after 3. But yeah, I personally think Toy Story 2 is my favorite of all the Toy Story films.
Yeah, me too. I watched it a ton as a kid. It's just such a good movie.
Really, really good. And another one that is on a lot of people's list, rightfully so, Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, I mean, I go back and forth with this one. Is it better than New Hope? I don't know. I love New Hope. Maybe to me is the more rewatch. I love New Hope,
Right.
but Empire is such a good sequel. Like,
Yeah.
This is one of those sequels that really, really makes me wish I was. Watching films in the time that these came out really makes me wish I saw this in theaters on opening week.
Absolutely. I think the reason why I think Empire is slightly better than A New Hope is because although I love the Obi-Wan Luke arc, relationship, I think Luke and Yoda is way better.
It is.
I think they really
It is.
like, to me, Luke and Yoda, that whole training, all the scenes of them together is peak Star Wars. Like, to me, that has never, ever been topped. With Yoda's wisdom, with his emotion, it's like Luke learning from...
all of the Dagobah training.
Oh, my God. Like, do or do not. There is no try. Like, I think when Yoda explains, adventure, excitement, a Jedi craves not these things. It's like, that is great. It's not CGI fest. It's not explosions. It's none of that. It's just the absurdity of it is amazing too.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about Star Wars is when you become super absurd with the concept and still be genuine.
Yeah, like Yoda.
Yeah.
In the 1980s or in the 70s.
Yeah.
Empire came
1980.
out in 80s.
Yeah, right,
70s, 80s.
Yeah.
Is a fucking weird ass character that you've never seen before. The man says all his sentences backwards. He's a green little fucking ogre.
Yeah, literally. If you told me that without any design or anything and it's just in the script, I'd be like, you're fucking
so
nuts.
weird. He's not scary. He's not
No.
like...
He's
I don't know.
goofy. He's a goofy
He's
character.
goofy. He's goofy, but also he's this Jedi master.
That's what I love the contrast of. It's such a great contrast. I mean, Obi-Wan had a similar thing where he was an older figure.
Yeah.
So I was like, what can this old guy do? And he was able to do a lot with little to do. Like, he Jedi mind tricks, all that. But Yoda was more of a visual exaggeration of that.
Yeah.
Which is why I love the concept of the Force, concept of the Jedi, is when visually your characters look like that and how much powerful they truly are. And And of course, like the twists, like
Of course, like,
everyone fucking
imagine
knows this now. But
seeing that
at the time,
it would,
yeah. So yeah, highly recommend. Obviously, another one on my list because we did briefly talk about it in an episode. Kung Fu Panda 2,
like this pick.
emotional as fuck. Which, if you said you were emotional for a movie called Kung Fu Panda 2, people would be like, "What? What are you talking about?" And it's like, no, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful film.
Yeah, it's the one that, you know, whether you're 10 years old or 50 years old, you can really appreciate.
Yeah,
Because of that emotion, I think it appeals to a wider audience. You know, we reviewed the most recent one.
yeah.
I don't think any 50-year-old would find too much they would want to, you know, like to hang on to on that. But this film has these like emotional evergreen themes and touches them so well. It's a really memorable sequel.
I fully agree. This was DreamWorks at their peak, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Similar to Pixar with Toy Story 2. This
What
was
year
there.
did Kung Fu Panda 2 come out?
Probably 2010,
Around there?
2011.
Yeah.
Yeah. A while ago.
They were peaking.
They were peaking there. Yeah.
They were peaking for sure.
And another one, this was my last one on the list, was Gremlins 2, the new batch.
Curveball.
Look, I know people love Gremlins. I do too. But
I
let's
don't
be
even-
honest.
yeah.
Let's be honest. It gets a little muddy with its story because it's like the Gremlins. You can't put any liquid on them and stuff. You can't eat past before midnight or consume anything. They're in the snow.
It makes no fucking sense.
It makes no fucking sense. Gremlins 2, here's their answer to that. Hey, we know it doesn't make any fucking sense. We're going to make fun of it and then go fucking ballistic. That's why I love Gremlins 2, because it tells you that the concept is absurd. It's ridiculous. And it tries not to be serious. It just tries to be creative and fun.
Yeah.
And I wish more sequels did that. Like, hey, we know we're not that serious. We're not going to be too meta. We're going to have fun with this.
Yeah.
And they did. This movie is beautiful. It breaks the fourth wall in the best way possible. And if you have not seen Gremlins 2, please see it. I think it's better than the first.
It's a beautiful thing when a franchise could just become self-aware and use that in the right way.
Yeah.
Not always winking at the camera, not always making a joke, but just like, we know it's silly, we're playing into it.
Yeah. I love it. I think that the absurdity of it really does come down. Like it's all set in a tower, and it's like this came out in 1990, but they have like channels for different things. Like, oh, this is the archery channel. This is that, and it's very like the satire is really well done in my opinion. Very comedic, and yeah, I mean it's fucking Gremlins. I love it.
I love it too. That's a great list, Nev.
Yeah.
Real solid list. All sequels that I would recommend you guys check out for sure.
Hell yeah.
I have a lot of the same: Godfather 2, Terminator 2, Toy Story 2.
Oh yeah, I forgot this one.
Spider-Man 2
How did I forget?
is an absolute must to put on this list.
Yeah.
Again, I love the first. I probably watched the first more, to be honest, but Spider-Man 2, just the way that story's crafted, the way they do Dr. Octopus,
yeah.
it's a perfect film.
It's like Dark Knight, in my opinion,
Yeah.
where it's like you can hate superhero films, but you have to have.
I would
loved that.
change nothing about that
Yeah.
movie. It's a perfect sequel. I love it so much. Another one I have is Casino Royale.
Fuck yeah, it's the best Bond film.
Casino Royale is the best Bond film.
Yeah.
Really, really memorable one. I love that one.
If anybody is ever into James Bond films and they're like, where do I start? This is Casino Royale.
Yeah, just start there.
That's
'Cause
the
then
best.
You're gonna watch it, you're gonna love it, and you're gonna be like, okay, let me see the rest.
Yeah, and this is coming from someone who's seen all the Bond films. I love all the Bond films, but this literally, it is the Dark Knight of James Bond.
I'm a more casual Bond viewer, but that's how I got into it. I
Yeah.
watched Casino Royale. That shit was crazy.
Amazing.
Great film. I got Saw 2 on my list.
Oh, yeah.
I love Saw 2. I like it. I mean, the original had such a obviously cool concept, really low budget, made it work so well.
Yeah.
But I love what they did with 2. If you want to see us talk about Saw in depth, we reviewed every film in one episode
Hell
for
yeah.
a Halloween special. I'm really proud of that episode. That's a great episode of the Real Talk podcast, so check that
yeah.
out. What else? I have Bad Boys 2.
Yeah, you
We
talked
just
about that
reviewed-
one.
Yeah, I talked about that in our Bad Boys episode a little bit. Really love that sequel. But those were kind of the differences on my list. I also have Dark Knight. I have Empire.
Hell
But let's finish off with some underrated ones that you
Yes.
have here, because I like that.
So there's some underrated ones. This list I had very little because I I don't think they're as good as the original,
Yeah.
but they get so overlooked, and I don't think they should. I think I would highly recommend these sequels. The first one on my list is Psycho 2. Now, I know what you're thinking. Psycho 2? What the fuck? They made a sequel? Like, the
Yeah.
first one's so iconic. This one is set 22 years after the first one. It's about Norman Bates coming out of prison, getting rehabilitated. And essentially, psychologically, hears voices and hears is his mother still alive and stuff. And you wonder if somebody's fucking with him or if he's becoming insane again
And they don't.
until the end. I'm not going to say anything, but that is their twist in the film. A lot of people don't know what the twist is, but I fucking love it. They made 2 more after this. They both suck. Psycho 2, yeah.
How long after the original did they make the sequel? Was it like a
22, yeah.
It was
1983.
immediate?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was in the 80s. So it's a lot more gory than the original, obviously, due to the ratings and stuff like that. But I would highly recommend it. You won't miss it. Doctor Sleep, this came out recently. This is a sequel to The Shining. Obviously, The Shining is one of the most iconic horror films of all time. This doesn't go into that type of horror. It goes into more depressing horror. Like Mike Flanagan, he's known for Midnight Mass. He's known for Haunting of Hill
Banger.
House.
Yeah, Hill House banger.
Those shows are known for being really depressing horror. So this is that. It covers Danny's story, which I find Danny way more interesting in this than the first one.
Kind of flew under my radar. I really want to check this out.
Highly recommend it. Really good one. Takes its time with its story. Another one is a Scorsese film. I didn't think this would be a sequel, but it is. It's The Color of Money. It's the sequel to The Hustler starring Paul Newman. Where
Nobody knows.
nobody knows, but by the way, it's fucking great. Only me and like 2 other people in their 60s have seen it, but it's really good.
And nobody knew this was a sequel. I feel like nobody knows this is a sequel.
This is like the pre-era of Creed.
Yeah.
Where Paul Newman plays the Rocky Balboa to Tom Cruise's Creed, where he's like, oh, the young guy playing pool. He thinks he's the cool guy. And Paul's like, I still got it,
Yeah.
Highly recommend it. If you have, check out Color of Money. And also check out The Hustler. Hustler is a really good fucking Paul Newman film. Classic. And another one, which I hear nobody fucking talk about despite.
Nev's, I'm going to be honest. I didn't know there was a sequel to this film.
I know. People don't fucking know, but it's not bad. It's Sicario 2. I fucking love this film. Obviously, Sicario 1 is the much better film because of Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah.
He fucking nailed it. Sicario 2, though, I think it's really solid. I think Josh Brolin and Benicio del Toro, they're really good in the fucking movie.
Interesting.
And I think the reason why they haven't made a third one is because, like you said, I didn't know there was a sequel.
Yeah, for real. I didn't.
And also, those 2 actors are fucking bigger than ever.
Yeah.
So the budget would probably be like $150 million if they made a third one. So,
And it would mom.
yeah. But if you love the first one, I would highly recommend Sicario 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I like that. I like these lists. I think we gave, if you haven't seen any of these sequels, you got to check them out. There's
Yes.
definitely some good recommendations in here. And I'd bet there's at least 1 or 2 movies you have not seen, sequels that you have not seen that you guys should check out. Let us know your favorite sequels in the comments. Which ones did we miss? I know we missed a
Oh,
ton.
absolutely.
There's a ton of great sequels, a ton of sequels that surpassed the original. We covered a few here, but I definitely know we missed some. So let us know in the comments. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe to your boys. Helps us out a ton. And most importantly, take care. Brush your hair.
peace.